All right, so it's been quite a minute since my last Xenoblade 3 video. It's been a minute since my last big video. So I've been sitting on this idea for a while now, and for whatever reason, I just held off on making this video. But I mean, shit, we're here. Before we start, there's a couple things I want to go over. First, again, go subscribe to Xenobits, Link a Lot, Timmy J, and Prez, especially Timmy J and Prez. Go support them. Actually, the iceberg, the part 4 to the Xenoblade iceberg is almost done. I'm doing a collab with Timmy J on that, and they actually recorded all the voice lines and sent them over to me. So I just gotta record my voice lines, record some background gameplay, and edit everything together, and it should be done. So that should be out by like next week. Hell, maybe even this week, like Tuesday, Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday this week. So yeah, look forward to that. I don't really have too much else to say. So as you saw by the title of the video, these are some things that I think are possible. I have six components right now. 6 things, like either themes or events that could happen in Xenoblade 3 based on the series, based on, just looking back at the other 3 games, 1X and 2. So without further ado, let's actually start. Okay, so the first point I have is party member that dies and then comes back later. So in each Xenoblade game, there is a party member that dies at some point in the game from some cause, but then ends up being resurrected and coming back later. Also, I forgot to mention earlier, but there will be spoilers in this video for Xenoblade 1, 2, and 3, or 1X and 2. So spoilers for the whole series. But for Xenoblade 1, for a character that dies and then comes back, we have Fiora. Fiora is killed by Metal Face at the beginning of the game, and then she comes back as Mecha Fiora near the middle of the game. For Xenoblade X, we have Lao. At the end of Xenoblade X, Lao fuses with Luxar, I think, and then they fall into a pool of human DNA, which basically just disintegrates them, and just their bodies are just obliterated. And then in a post-credit scene, I think it's post-credits, we see Lao laying on a beach, his body fully intact, and he opens his eyes. So somehow Lao is still alive, or at least he's back. I haven't beat Xenoblade X yet, so my knowledge on X is kind of hazy. And then for Xenoblade 2, Pyra and Mithra. As we know, at the end of the game, in order to save everybody, Numa uses the rest of Ion's power to destroy the World Tree. And in doing so, she destroys herself. And then on the back of Zerda, the Aegis Core Crystal Rex is holding starts to glow, and then Pyra and Mithra come back. With or without their memories, that's a whole nother topic that's already been discussed that I'm not going to try to discuss in this video. But for party members that die then come back, we have Fiora, Lao, and Pythra. So if Xenoblade 3 is following the same themes as the rest of the games, which I don't see why it wouldn't, then we will most likely have a party member that dies somehow and then comes back later, either as a playable character or just an NPC. Second point I have is a third higher power, later revealed at the end of the game. Now they've been hinted at throughout the game, but weren't explicitly revealed to like their true identity to be revealed later on at the end. For Xenoblade 1, we have Alvis. Alvis was introduced like pretty early mid-game. No, actually at the very beginning of the game, he was talking to Shulk when he first got the Monado. And throughout the whole game, he's just kind of been this mysterious figure that was just there. We didn't really know anything about him at all. And then at the end of the game, we realized Alvis is actually the Monado itself, the third Aegis Core Ontos that basically watches over the world of Xenoblade Chronicles 1. Now, I'm gonna skip X, I'm gonna come back to that. For Xenoblade 2, we have Klaus. The whole game we've been learning about, the architect sits up in Elysium at the top of the world tree. And we've always heard about architect this, architect that. And then it's not until the end of the game we actually learn that the architect is Klaus. And Klaus used to be just a regular human who used the Zohar's power. Again, I'm going to be calling the conduit the Zohar just for simplicity's sake and to like keep it in line with the rest of the Xeno series, because in Xenosaga there's the Zohar, but in Xenoblade 2 it's called the conduit, but it's theoretically the same thing, so I'm just going to call it the Zohar. But Klaus uses the Zohar to reset the universe, and in doing so he takes half of his body and Galea are sent into a separate dimension. Half of his body, Galea, and Alvis are sent to a different dimension. Ontos becomes Alvis, that half of Klaus becomes Zanza, and Galea becomes Mainith. And Klaus has been just sitting up watching over Allrest all this time, ever since he restarted the universe. And he's not as much of a god as the party originally thought. He's just some random guy who fucked up. And okay, X is the hard part, because this one it's kind of reaching, because the third higher power, there isn't really a higher like two factions. In Xenoblade 1 we have, I guess you can look at it as Zanza and Mainith, and then Alvis is the third higher power. And then in Xenoblade 2 you can look at like Numa and Malos with Klaus as the third higher power. In Xenoblade X there isn't really like two defining factions, except for I guess like the humans / Memizones and the Ganglion. And then so the third higher power could be Mira itself. I know that sounds really dumb, but Mira is a weird ass planet, okay? We still barely know anything about it. And at the end of Xenoblade X, Elma is like, it's something about this planet, because apparently Mira is keeping all the Memizones alive, because the only reason the Memizones or the humans were able to survive on Mira is because the Lifehold Core is keeping all their bodies intact, which is keeping them alive. And since the Lifehold Core was destroyed, they shouldn't be alive. No one should be alive. But according to Elma, it's something about the planet. The planet Mira itself is keeping everyone alive without the help of the Lifehold Core. So Mira could be sentient or something. There's some weird shit going on with Mira, okay? Third point, crime organization. There could be a crime organization in Xenoblade 3 that we'll have to encounter during the story of Xenoblade 3. In Xenoblade Chronicles 1, we have the Bionite Order, which isn't really a crime organization. They're more of just like a religious cult, and we only encounter them once throughout the entire game, and that's in Alchemoth when we're attacked by Bionite members. And Bionite Order is really weird because they were abolished, or like disbanded centuries before the events of Xenoblade 1 by, I think his name was Lumion. I don't know, but it was some high tier ruler or emperor. He disbanded them, and so they like been creeping in the shadows. No one really knows about the Binite Order anymore, or at least no one knows that they're still running because they've been disbanded for so long. You know, you'd think that they're just gone for good, but they're actually being led by Yumea, and Yumea was actually arrested because found out, oh, she's the leader of the Binite Order, and the Binite Order they had a bad reputation for how zealous they were and dedicated they were to the Bionis, and they even, you know, attempted to assassinate Melia in the High Antia tomb. And it's said that Tyreo was somehow persuaded by Yumea to like join the Binite Order. I don't know, it's a whole different, that's for a whole different video. The Binite Order is really interesting, and I really do want to learn more about it. I might do a whole last video about the Binite Order at some point. And in Xenoblade 2, we have Torna, obviously, the group of Torna. Jin, Malos, Patroka, Mikhail, Nakos. If I remember correctly, I think their initial like plan, the whole plot was to make it up the world tree and kill the architect, kill Klaus. And I mean, they had to take out Release. The reason they were after the party is because they wanted Pyra, Mithra, Numa, whatever. They wanted Numa, the other Aegis, in order to fully regain Malos's power so they can make it up the world tree and kill Klaus. The only reason they're like opposing the party is to get the other Aegis, and then eventually they do. In chapter 7, Malos regains all his power and they climb up the world tree. Numa opens up the way to the world tree for them. Xenoblade X, I don't think there really is crime organization. I guess you can like stretch and reach for the prone, but aren't the prone just ganglion? I don't know. I haven't beat X. I think I'm on like chapter 8 out of 10, so I'm really close to the end. And Xenoblade X wasn't always, you know, its big focus wasn't its story like the first two games are. Xenoblade X is more focused on exploration and exploring the big seamless open world. So Xenoblade X's story is a little lacking, so it may not have as many similarities to 1 and 2 as 1 and 2 do to each other. Alright, fourth point is a trinity of power. Like there is, self-explanatory, a trinity of power. In Xenoblade 1, there is Zanza, Maneth, and Shulk, the three Monados. Each Zanza, Maneth, and Shulk have their own Monados, and there's like a trinity, them three, trinity of gods, or a trinity of power in Xenoblade 1, kind of like a Triforce. And if Shulk doesn't feel right to you, then I guess you can say Alvis could be the third instead of Shulk, considering he's basically a god too before Shulk was. And in Xenoblade 2, that's obvious. It's Numa, Logos, and Ontos. The original trinity of Aegises of the Trinity processor, the 3 cores of a Trinity processor. Again, X is weird. It's very, very loosely connected to 1 and 2. Like 1 and 2 are already kind of loosely connected to each other, but not as much as X is to 1 and 2. So hopefully Xenoblade X will have more of a connection to 3 than it does to 1 and 2. But yeah, I can't really think of anything. I guess like, I mean, yeah, I don't have anything. Like, if anything, if there's like some trinity of power or any type of power, it would be Mira itself. Mira is a weird ass planet. It could be sentient for all we know. It's like fucking Unicron from Transformers, where Unicron was Earth the whole time. It's so fucked and weird. I don't know. 5th point is one of our protagonists, like main protagonists, dies or is at risk of dying. Xenoblade 1, obviously Shulk is shot in the back by Dixon. I don't think it explicitly states that he died, but he was like mortally wounded and was at risk of dying. And then what was her name? Lenata? What? Lenata was her name, I think it was. I don't know. You know what I'm talking about. The Machina that helped Fiora and all that. I can't believe I forgot her name, but I think it's Lenata. And then she like took care of Shulk and brought him back to full health again, I guess. And then Xenoblade X, Cross, the main character. I think it was chapter 3 or 4. They're in Oblivia and they're fighting some ganglion, and Cross's arm gets blown off, and that's when they realize that they're a Mimiazome. So I mean, I don't know if that counts at them like dying or at risk of dying. I mean, their arm gets taken off. To any normal human, that'd do a lot of damage if not taken care of right away, from loss of bleeding, infection, or anything else. I say loss of bleeding? What the loss of blood loss, okay? Fucking loss of bleeding. But since she's a Mimiazome, or they are a Mimiazome, since it could be male or female, since they're a Mimiazome, it doesn't really it doesn't really affect them. They can just get repaired as long as their like actual human body is intact. They can't really die. They can use as many Mimiazome bodies as they need. And then for Xenoblade 2, I was actually thinking like Pyra, since King Eulegiminos was going to destroy her with like that giant ether laser or something in Tantal, in Theoswar. But literally Rex dies at the beginning of the game. Jin just straight up slices him through the back, just murks him. He just murks Rex. And yeah, and then Rex is brought back to life by Pyra. Pyra uses half of her Aegis core to give Rex new life and revive him. 6th and final point. A new world is revealed at the end of the game. So for Xenoblade Chronicles 1, after Zanza is defeated and Shulk becomes basically the new god, he has the choice to recreate a new world, and Shulk chooses to recreate a new world with no need for gods. And as we know, this is the combined world of Xenoblade 1 and 2, or I mean, this is what becomes of the combined world of Xenoblade 1 and 2 in Xenoblade 3, known as Ionios. And then for Xenoblade 2, we know after Malos is defeated, Klaus, as his one last gift, as he says, he like disperses the Cloud Sea and reveals that the real Elysium was underneath the Cloud Sea the whole time, and we see all the Titans conjoin into this one landmass, which again is or could be Ionios, considering Araya is there in Xenoblade 3. Like, we can see it in the title screen. So And then along with the Mechonis sword, so it's, I mean, Ionios is the new worlds of 1 and 2 combined. And then again, X, the fucking black sheep of this series. The new world in X could be, I mean, Mira, like deeper inside of Mira, or like the other half of Mira. We only get to see a very small part of Mira in the full game. We get what, 5 continents, and then in the official, I'll have it up on screen right now, the official scope or representation of Mira, we get to see there's a lot of landmass that wasn't in the actual game, and we only get to see one half of the planet. There's a whole entire another half of the planet that we've never seen. So when Elma says it's something about this planet, maybe they travel to the other side of Mira and find out some big secret or something, or maybe Ionios is over on the other side. Like, I'm telling you, Mira is Ionios. Like, Mira is Ionios in the future. Like, I still believe this, and if you haven't seen my video about that, please go watch it. I'm gonna have it at the end of the video in the end card, and I'm gonna have it in the description, and maybe that little iCard up here or something, I don't know. But yeah, I still believe that Mira is Ionios, and I mean, there's a lot of evidence supporting it, but I know a lot of you are gonna be like, yeah, no, that's cap, because there's already a lot of you who don't believe it anyway. But I'm sticking to it until Xenoblade 3 comes out. I'm sticking to that theory until I'm proven wrong. So I'm gonna pop out, be like I told y'all. But I mean, that's really all I can think of right now as like a quick recap. So some themes or events that happened in Xenoblade 1 and 2, and some of them in X that could return in Xenoblade 3, or that have a high chance of happening in Xenoblade 3, are number 1, a party member dies and then comes back later with Fiora, Lao, and Pythra. 2, a third higher power revealed at the end of the game, but teased throughout the entire game. Alvis, Klaus, and I guess maybe Mira. I still don't know. 3, a crime organization, Torna, and the Bionite Order. There's nothing really for Xenoblade X, but if I had to put something in there for X, I'd say the Prone, which is still, I don't really know, but I have nothing better. And then number 4, for a trinity of power, we have Zanza, Mainith, and Shulk, or Alvis for Xenoblade 1, and then for Xenoblade 2, Numa, Logos, and Ontos. And in X, I guess humans, Ganglion, and Prone, Sumerians. Like, it's weird. X is a weird game. 5th is Protagonist dies or at risk of dying. Xenoblade 1, Shulk, Cross for X, and then Rex for 2. And 6th, a new world is revealed. So Shulk's new world without gods. I mean, the truth about Mira, that's very vague. Like the other half of Mira itself could be a whole new world. Like the other half of Mira, maybe there's like some ether barrier that like keeps us from exploring the other side of the planet, and that could be like the in-universe reason for the boundaries. That'd actually be really dope. And then when they go down into Mira, they find like the Zohar or something, and they're able to use the Zohar to like disperse the ether barrier and like explore the other half of Mira, which turns out to be Ionios. Holy shit, I'm getting so hype off of this. Like, what? I'm just thinking as I'm talking, and holy shit, if that was like the actual in-game reason, bro, imagine I just predicted the events of Xenoblade Chronicles X2. I just predicted X2 story. Holy shit. I'm so hyped about that for no reason. But bruh, and then for the new world for Xenoblade 2 is the real Elysium, which also just turns out to be Ionios. So I'm telling you, Ionios turns out to be Mira in the future. Xenoblade 1 and 2 take place, and then in the far future is Xenoblade 3 on Ionios, and then in the further future, Ionios is just basic. Maybe Ionios is just a continent on the planet Mira. So like, Mira has been there the whole time, and we've been on Mira this whole time. I'm telling you, I'm sticking to this until I'm proven wrong, bruh. Mira is Ionios. Oh, I'm so excited. There's so many videos I want to make now. Like, thoughts are starting to race through my head, and there's like so many fun, stupid video ideas I'm having now. Like, maybe the Zohar is on Mira, and that's what's keeping everybody alive. Like, the Zohar is acting as the life hold core, and keeping everyone alive. And then like they find the Zohar and the spell of the ether barrier keeping them on the 5 continents, and they go to the other side of the planet, and that's where Ionios is. And then they meet the Xenoblade 3 characters. So maybe Mira and Xenoblade 3 are or Xenoblade X and 3 are taking place at the same time. But I'm telling you, I am popping off from this right now. Obviously, none of this is true. It's just stupid, dumb, like, theorizing. Like, I'm telling you, I'm so passionate about Xenoblade that I can't even believe I'm coming up with all of this shit. But I mean, it only gets better from here. I can't wait for new Xenoblade 3 information. I am so happy right now. But I mean, yeah, that's about all I have. If I come up with any more possible themes or events for Xenoblade 3, I'll be sure to make another video. I will definitely be making another video if I come up with more. But please go check out these legends in the description. Please go check them out. Xenobits, link a lot. Temmie J, and my homie Prez. Please go peep all of their channels. They really do. They really would appreciate all the support and do deserve it. So, I mean, hey, I'm just over here getting hype about new video ideas and just stupid theories for Xenoblade. Oh my god, but I'm way too hype right now. But as always, thanks for watching. Have a damn good day. Stay safe, be well, and play some goddamn Xenoblade.